Good in the day, shadow with a one angry pagan. Okay, so the Tories are smashed. Not utterly smashed, but smashed enough. What next? Well, campaigning for proportional representation. But for right now, what we need to do is try to work with the Labour government, talk to the Labour government, communicate with the Labour government in whichever way we can, in putting ideas across, realistic ideas, even if they are like part of a brick by brick building of foundations sort of thing, right? If we end up getting these citizens' assemblies, that'll be bonus. But as it is, bug your Labour MPs, bug your Lib Dem MPs to get this stuff into Parliament. So, you know, if you want to watch my Enviro vids, you'll see the that I'm starting to look at the British Ecological Society's manifesto. It's their report on what basically the realistic solutions, the nature-based solutions, NBSs that can be applied on top of what we're already doing, on top of what we already can do, I should say, to one, alleviate the climate crisis, and two, to actually help us progress forwards. Now, I've been a part. I've looked in on a couple of chats since election day, or since the election result, since Friday, I should say, and there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of our Stammer's only going to tweak around the edges. There's only going to be this and that, and it's like, well, one of the things that got put to me before the election and during the election was that Labour will need to kind of do a fair amount of restructuring of the UK before we can even think about rejoining EU. And if you think about it, that's what the efforts are going to be going into. Restructuring the UK, into a position where it can, it can show that it can hold its own again. And then, say in 10 to 15 years' time, we can push to get back in the EU. Now, the thing is we need to be trying to think of solutions now to try and get back in 10, 15 years' time. Instead of trying to, instead of just saying we need to get back in the EU, we need to get back in the EU. Well, one of the things we keep being told is that we need to do things different in the UK before we can rejoin the EU. And this is going to take a fair amount of time to do so. Not only that, but we need to convince, Labour are going to need to convince voters that the direction they choose is the right way to go. We're yet to see if the direction that Labour choose is the right way to go. And they seem to be choosing a multiple of different directions. That's what it seems to me. They're choosing a diversity of different routes to go in. One thing I really like already is the Labour is Starmer's appointment of Sir Patrick Vallance, the Science Minister, and what's his face, Timpson, something Timson, who does for the prisons. These seem to be really decent appointments. Not like appointing someone because they're party faithful, but appointing someone because they actually have expertise in that field. That that makes sense. We'll have to see what happens for house building. We'll have to see what happens with everything right now. I mean, there are a lot of people that have got saying that saying they're realists, but what they're doing is being doomerists. Like, I get we are in a shit position. I understand that. I spent the first part of my adult life under Tories, with things getting steadily worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's no wonder that the majority of people my age or younger or a little bit older can't even bring themselves to trust Labour because they think everyone's just establishment, everything's just going to stay the same, it's just going to continue to be shit. Like, no one's paying attention to the details. Not really. Now, I don't think Labour are perfect in their position. I think we can move them. I think Stummer's a man that can have his position moved. Especially if we convince enough people that that's the position that he needs to take. If we can convince enough people, I mean, in one sense, this could be a useful thing from Reform UK that we that sorry them that they that the Reform UK also going for PR the same as us and same as other parties and same as other people that aren't even in a political party. This is good in a way. Like, it's a double-edged sword, granted, but it's still there's still a benefit to it. And if we had PR, it would be likely at this point that that reform would still be a thing. In fact, they'd have more MPs under PR. Um, but these are mid to long term. These are mid to long term projects, and in the meantime, it's a case of badgering badgering Labour and other politicians, and not just politicians, MPs, your councils, you know, talk to people in business, see what they think, like not big business, small, medium sized enterprises, whatever you call them. Talk to people who are self-employed. Talk to farmers. Talk to everyone. Find out what everyone, or the different ideas. Look at the commonalities of what people actually want, rather than looking at the separate things that each group wants. It is possible if you get each party in the sort of graph, like in sort of pie chart. What would you call it? I can't think of what they're called. Sort of gauge chart, right? And you have each of the parties, right, as they are right now, right, and like as part as well. Actually, no, it would be a pie chart. Okay, so there are all the main parties and people who support all the main parties, right? Not everyone, just as not and asking enough people, right? And then you ask people who aren't politically engaged what they think solutions, realistic solutions to fix the country might be. Like, and instead of looking at all the different ideas, because you will get hundreds of thousands of ideas, right? But granted, this would take a massive collaborative effort to collate all of this information. But you could separate out all the different ideas and look for all of the commonalities between all of them. Now, that will filter out the majority. That will I'm thinking that will probably filter out the majority of people's ideas. But then you get to like this area of agreement, of rough agreement, where people are like, yeah, okay, we can all agree on these things. So, and I'm not just I'm not again. I'm asking for all of us to do this. Go and talk to people. Go and ask people what they think. The solutions to the country might be. And don't just ask them like, oh, what would you do if you were prime minister? Ask them ask them specifically, realistically, what would you think would be the best direction for this country to go in? Realistically speaking, taking your biases out of it for everyone, not for yourself, for the whole for the whole UK. Ask yourselves ask people that question over and over and over again. Come back to me with those answers. Come back, I'll talk to Reagan Elite. I'll talk to, a different Phil from a different bias. I'll talk to Graham from Politics Social. I'll try and talk to as many people as I can, right, to get this out there. Talking about ideas, talking about solutions, because all I'm hearing from many areas right now are people who are against the Tories, who are against Brexit, but all we keep hearing is you're in a shit position and you're going to have to deal with it until the UK changes. And it's like, well, we got to talk about solutions then. But no one wants to talk about solutions, man. Like, and if they do, like, they argue about these solutions. But this is why I said talk to as many people as you can about solutions, realistic solutions to how the UK can fix the direction that it's on, right? Jot them down on your PCs, on your like notepads on your phone, like jot them down on a piece of paper and charts and stuff. Send me this stuff, or send Reagan this stuff. Like bring it up on the Discord if you're on there. Just get active in asking people what we should be doing, what they should, what people, the average person thinks would be the right direction for us to go in, rather than and ask literally all types of people, from the homeless to the rich. Ask them for not just one solution. Ask them for all many ideas. Ask them for 5 to 10 ideas, realistic ideas on how we could push the country forwards. Now, this isn't supposed to be a centrist position. This is supposed to be a progressive position that I'm taking here. This is a progressive thing I'm asking you guys to do. This isn't yes, this is a case of trying to listen to all sides, but it's a case of listening to what everyone wants, or what everyone thinks we need, and seriously focus on those commonalities. We can bring the public round, and then we can push properly progressive ideas. This will take time and a lot of hard effort, but it can be done. It's possible, and we will be fought every step of the way. We shouldn't give up on that though. So, yeah, what do I think of the results of this election? Cool wins. Now let's actually get to work in trying to find solutions to fix the problems that the Tories put us into. And to be fair, some issues that the last Labour government put us into. So let me know. Take this seriously, is what I'm saying. We can affect change. Our species is one of the only species that can affect its own evolution. And that's not just biologically speaking. I'm talking about societal and political and religious and educational. You know, all these systems that are related to us, a living thing, are subject to evolution just as we are. So, if we on the left, at least some of us on the left, can work to this idea of trying to this long-term idea of asking that, don't get me wrong, there are going to be multiple, wide-ranging views, but if you ask them 5 to 10 questions of what realistic solutions that we can have for this country, not just 2 or 3, 5 to 10, seriously, 5 to 10. If they've got more, brilliant, but minimum 5 to 10. 5 to 10 realistic solutions. Jot them down somewhere. Let's collate this information, because I don't see where this information is. I've seen many polls on people's opinions and whatnot, but I've not been able to find. And if there is, can someone help me with this? Can someone direct me in that kind of direction? But like, I've not been able to find any information that collates in the UK alone what people on, like, the average person from many different backgrounds thinks are realistic solutions to how we can fix the country. And it's not just average people, I suppose. Like, just many people as possible from different backgrounds. What do they think? And then collate that information in such a way that you can separate out the differing opinions to the similar or the same opinions. I've not seen that on a large scale. If someone can point me in a direction as to where that is, if that is indeed a thing, cool beans. But I've not been able to find it, and I think if we can do that, that would really help, and then we can push it towards people in power. There's so much despondency, people. So much. I hate to use a Boris Johnson word, but doomerism. And that is largely because of the Tories. People have become politically disassociated. The Tories have made it so that Labour have shifted to a position that people don't think is overly progressive. I think a lot of these people have an anti-Labour bias. But I also think that they have viable grievances against Labour as well. Which means Labour need to do things differently, and we need to push Labour to do things differently. We can't just expect them to do things differently. We need to push them to do differently. Let me know what you guys think. Come on, Badgers. Let me know what you guys think. We have a unique situation here, and if we don't take advantage of it, we really, really will be fucked. So come on, let's try and work together. I know we all have different opinions ourselves on the left, but we can at least agree. We should at least be able to agree on this one. Like, as a tactic, if we can use this and like look at as these and again look at separate out the different ideas, get the similar and same ideas together. Look for the most progressive, but push this to whoever's in power, whoever you can get hold of, whoever has a voice as well on YouTube or wherever, on Twitch or Twitter or Facebook or wherever. Just push this out there, because it's not impossible. It's not impossible to change the direction we are on. It's not impossible. It is unlikely, but it's not impossible. It's going to be very, 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 very difficult. But it's not going to be impossible. Just got to put the effort in. So again, let me know what you guys think about this. I'm not buzzing. Well, I'm kind of buzzing, but I'm not buzzing as well, because I know the realistic situation. Labour did not win a majority of votes. They won it very efficiently, very tactically. So we have to push them. We are in a position to push them. Let's do that. My shield at your backs, badges. God with you. Good fate. Blessed Thursday. Blessed be. And let's get moving. Let's get working, guys.